निर्विशेष शून्यवादी सत्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनंदन जय व्रज जन रंजन जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा Haribol, welcome one and all to this session on Isopanisad. We are going to the verse 7. 6, 7, 8 is going to talk about is talking about the Supreme Lord and his qualities. And his pure devotees, mainly about his pure devotees, Uttam Adhikari Bhakta, or Prabhupada also calls them as Mahabhagavata Bhaktas. Mahabhagavata, this word is used by Prabhupada, Uttam Adhikari and then Mahabhagavata. So we are continuing to see their characteristics and how do they see. See, the perceptions differ from person to person. And even the world, the way we see things differ. even though the objects and the environment is the same, when you see, or when X, Y, Z, some see, it is different for their vision. So we ask them, what do you see? How do you feel? Because it's an individual experience. So now the perception of the pure devotee, how does he perceive the world? How does he live in this world? We saw that a person who is conscious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, hmm, he is not entangled. Now this person is going to live in the material world, but he is actually a transcendental personality. So what does he see? How does he see the world? So the same question, later when we come to Bhagavad Gita, we'll see that Arjuna is asking this question to Krishna. How will a transcendentalist live? A person who is already liberated, but he is living in the material world. How does he live? How does he walk? How does he talk? So what will be his behavior? So of course, we have wonderful acharyas in our parampara. At the same time, we see that very great Mahabhagavata Bhaktas descended with Lord Chaitanya. Then there are so many wonderful personalities as examples. How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they eat? We can see that. What do they converse? What do they talk? So these are all the activities. So here, but the perception, what does he see? What does he perceive of this world? What does he perceive of the living entities who are here? How does he see that? So that is what we are seeing right now. So I'll just go through the, okay, anyway. So if you remember yesterday, we saw that Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari Bhaktas, right? And also we saw that the Uttamadhikari systematically sees things and he follows. Two things he does. Systematically he follows and systematically he thinks, he sees. So this perception, how is his perception? How does he see the world? So I am seeing the world, I am seeing something, and Prabhupada is seeing the same world. There is a new person who's coming to meet Prabhupada. They are going for morning walk, and some disciples are walking behind Prabhupada. So all of them, Prabhupada is standing and looking at the lake and the beautiful forest like this. So what is that new person who has come is seeing? What is Prabhupada seeing? What is the other people seeing? So what does Prabhupada see? That is important. So here we saw the Uttamadhikari, he does anupashyati. So here in the previous verse also this anupashyati was used. Now again anupashyata is used. Here ekatvam is also used, anupashyata is also used. So anupashyata means he follows and he sees. This is the meaning Prabhupada gives in the purport. So what does he follow? What does he see? Yes, he follows the Acharya Parampara. He follows the instructions and the teachings of the previous acharyas. That is how he systematically sees. And he is also systematically following. Okay, then everything is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Vedanta Sutra, and scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, mainly Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada is mentioning. And he hears them from these previous acharyas. And then by assimilation, by hearing, and then serving and surrendering and following the previous acharya, he is able to see things as they are. And he sees samas sarveshu bhuteshu. So he sees everybody equal. This verse also will come across here, Atma Vibhut, sorry, Brahma Bhuta, Atma Bhuta. Sarvani Bhutani Atmai. Atmaiva Bhut is what we see. Atmaiva Bhut, this we are seeing. Atma Bhutani. So there is a Atma Bhuta and Brahma Bhuta stages. So he can see the spirit soul. That doesn't mean that he'll see spark, spark, spark everywhere. No, he doesn't see the spark everywhere. The spirit soul is not a spark, it is a personality. So what does he see? He sees the spirit soul as part and parcel of Krishna. That is what we saw in the previous verse. Now again we are continuing this verse. So this is the base for this. So let us go ahead reciting this verse. All of you unmute to recite. Gauranga. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। तं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। हरि ओम तत्सत। जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। Okay, so Isopanisad Mantra 7. Yasmin sarvani bhutani
यस्मिन्
सर्वाणि
सर्वाणि
भूतानि
आत्मैवाभूत विजानत
आत्मैवाभूत
विजानत
तत्र को मोहः सोह
तत्र को मोहः
एकत्वम् अनुपश्यत।
एकत्वम् अनुपश्यत।
Synonyms, please repeat after me. Yasmin, in the situation.
यस्मिन्
In the situation.
Sarvani, all.
All.
Bhutani, living entities.
Bhutani, living entities.
Atma, the Chitkana.
Atma,
The
spiritual spark.
Eva, only.
Eva,
only
Abhut, exist as.
Abhut, exist as.
Vijanata, of one who knows.
Jnanata, of one who knows.
Tatra, therein.
Tatra, therein.
Ka, what.
What?
Moha, illusion.
Illusion.
Ka, what.
What?
Saka, anxiety. Soka.
Soka, anxiety.
Ekatvam.
Ekatvam.
Oneness in quality.
Oneness in quality.
Anupashyata, of one who sees through authority. Or Anupashyata, one who sees through authority.
Anupashyata, of one who sees through authority.
Or one who sees constantly like that.
Or one who sees constantly like that.
One who sees through authority.
Translation.
One who sees constantly like that.
One who always sees all living entities.
One who always sees all living entities.
sees all the living
As spiritual sparks.
As spiritual sparks.
Quality one with the Lord.
In quality one with the Lord.
Becomes a true knower of things.
Becomes a true knower of things.
What then?
What then?
Can be illusion or anxiety for him.
Can be illusion or anxiety for him.
Thank you. So here, very important, soka and moka. So soka. In many of the Indian languages, soka
can be illusion.
Huh? Okay. So in many of the Indian languages, soka means the anxiety or sadness or like that. The soka. And moha. Moha means illusion. The soka and moha is almost many languages. It's the same. Sanskrit also same. So soka and moha, people don't want soka, they don't want moha, they want clear vision. So clear vision without illusion and soka, who will attain? This person has attained. Earlier, previous verse, we saw that he doesn't hate anybody or anything. Sometimes as devotees, I hate material. Why should you hate material? You should love Krishna. So many of the times I used to always quote this, hating material is not Krishna consciousness, loving Krishna is Krishna consciousness. Because many of the time when somebody joins as a new devotee, their overall idea is to hate the material. So this is again Prabhupada is mentioning in one of the purports in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in the 4 kinds of people who don't surrender to Krishna. In that he is mentioning the hatred for material world is a symptom of impersonalism. Mayavadis or those who want to merge with the impersonal Brahman, they generally hate the material world. They don't want to serve Krishna and they enter into the impersonal Brahman. So hating alone, if you think it's a spiritual process, hating the material world, not being touched by material, I don't want to touch material. Without loving Krishna, without developing affectionate relationship with Krishna, according to Shastra, according to authorities, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and then you are a Mayavadi because you want to leave matter, but you don't want to enter into a spiritual world because spiritual world is full of services. Dasyam starts with Dasya. Of course, there can be admirers, admiring people or fans of Krishna who are not much of a service, who are like other living entities like stone or whatever it is. But generally, they also serve Krishna. Even the other pillow and this and that, every chair, everything serves Krishna. So everybody is in the in-service mode there. So without serving Krishna, without developing loving relationship with Krishna, just hating matter is nothing but you want to get out of the matter, but you don't want to enter into the spiritual kingdom. Then where are you hanging? Hanging Garden of Babylon, which is nothing but the impersonal Brahmajyoti. So it's very dangerous to simply hate the matter. The overall idea is to love Krishna. And if you have any attitude of enjoying the matter, you have to condemn yourself. How nasty I am. Like that, you have to condemn yourself rather than condemning the matter. So staying away from matter is not our duty. Going near Krishna is our duty. So when we walk towards Krishna, they are in the opposite. For example, it's like this. So this is the material world. Oh, I don't want Maya, Maya, Maya. So Maya conscious. No. So Maya is here and Krishna is here. And you're more near to Maya. You're standing somewhere in between, near Maya. Then you walk towards Krishna. When you're walking towards Krishna, facing him, automatically you're moving away from Maya. Very, very simple concept to understand. So no soka and no moga. To whom it's not written anything, this person hates the matter. No, in the previous verse we saw that the pure devotee or the Uttamadhikari Bhakta never hates anything or anybody. Any being also he doesn't hate, and he doesn't hate any thing also. Matter also he doesn't hate. He uses it in the service of Krishna, whatever he gets as his quota. And he doesn't get as quota, he doesn't hanker for it. And whatever he got, he's not throwing it away because he loves Krishna, he uses it in the service of Krishna. That's it, simple. Very, very simple. So here, and further, the quality of this Uttamadhikari Bhakta or Mahabhagavata is mentioned, one who always sees all living entity as spiritual sparks. So everybody has spiritual spark he's seeing, point number 1. Second, in quality one with the Lord. He's seeing one, ekatvam. He's seeing this is spirit soul, this is part and parcel of Krishna, not different from Krishna. So like this, he sees oneness between Krishna and the living entity. This is another quality, ekatvam. So, and he knows things, he's said to be the one who knows things as they are. Okay. Now I'll stop share here. We'll have to have a session. Now, I would like to ask you a question. In this living entity, is it one with the Lord or different from the Lord?
One with the Lord.
I think it is the living and it is different from the Lord, though it is part and parcel of it, but the entity is different.
Okay. Anybody else?
Living entity is one with the Lord as well as it is like different. It has its own identity.
It's an individual personality, separate personality. Okay.
Living beings are part and parcel of the Lord. It is not different, but it is not equal to God. It is a tiny spark of the Lord.
Okay. It's a tiny spark of the Lord. At the same time, it is not equal to the Lord. Anybody else?
Same as the Lord, but Lord is Vibhu and living entities are no small. I think it's a
Okay,
same as
so the
Lord.
living entity is very minute. The Supreme Lord is magnanimous or infinity. You can say infinity.
Actually, he is our master and we are servant. Means he is Bharta and we are means getting.
Yes. He is master and we are servants. Okay, so this again, every sloka reveals us some nice concept. So here, this sloka also purport, Prabhupada is revealing a beautiful concept of the base of what we are executing and the constitutional position of the living entity. What is the position of living entity? So this oneness which is described here is explained further by Prabhupada. So we'll quickly see some, I'll explain to you, then we can read, and then it's more easier. So the Uttamadhikari sees, who always sees the living entity as spiritual spark. Okay, they is already seeing them as spiritual spark. In quality, one with the Lord. So this is important. Like as some people mention that is different because he's minute and Lord is magnanimous, very, very means infinity. So then we are different from him. In what sense we are same? Because we are spiritual spark, we are part and parcel. So becomes a true knower of things. The person who knows this tattva is said to be the true knower of things. And when he sees things like with that consciousness, based on the scriptures and authority, especially with Guru, very clearly mentioned that with authority he sees on the instruction or the advice of authority or the books which are revealed by, like for example, we have Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's books we are reading. This is completely authorized information. So with that guidance, when we are studying and then start seeing things like that, then we elevate ourselves into the next stages. So here, the original position of living entity is revealed in this purport. So, except for the Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari, nobody can see the spiritual position of the living entity. In the world, there are many, many people, and also there are people in the in devotee circle. So, if he's a Kanishta Adhikari, he cannot see the correct position of the living being. Seeing is the perception. See, I know, you know, I know. So, information can be collected by anybody. But realization or seeing, Shastra Shakshu, see with the eye of the, like, for example, I'm seeing like this, but I put Shastra here. And then with the vision of Shastra, I see. So that is different. That is, I see the Shastra in the world. So when I live in this world, how do I see things also? Knowing, taking notes, mugging up in college, we have done in school, we have done, we all have got certificates, which actually means we mugged up, we just went and repeated. 0% belief on whatever is there. We understood, don't understood. We know to very well put, you know. This means knowledge. This proudness of getting some information and repeating that information without any realization. Many people are doing. The entire world is behind that only. But the question here is, do you see through that? That is possible by constant hearing from spiritual master. And also hearing very nicely, going through Prabhupada's books with a sincere effort to know things as they are, not to become famous or to give lecture, or it should be read. It should be read for self-assimilation. And then you, from that realization, you need to give classes. Not information transfer. I know, you know, like that. No. So here, that is why it is mentioned here, except for Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari, no one can correctly see the spiritual position of the living being. Madhyamadhikari discriminates. And the Kanishta thinks God is there only in the temple. So I remember when I came to Bangalore this time, before a month or so for some program. Somebody, some two girls approached. And when they came, they were so curious. And they were both are chanting 16 rounds and all. So they asked, what about the case? Some temple, we are not getting that. So we are praying very intensely to the Lord that we should win the case too. Somebody took one temple and went away. So then I said, Guru Maharaj will never ask you to pray for that and all. Because the whole world belongs to Krishna. Why only the temple belongs to Krishna? So all the property in the whole world should be written in ISKCON's name. Not required. People can be there wherever they are and they can be Krishna conscious. If somebody is having a keti, a farmer, just make the farmer a devotee and let him continue with this occupation in Krishna consciousness. How much property will you write in your name? Why should you? Because everything already belongs to Krishna. If you are a Krishna conscious person, you see the whole world belongs to Krishna only. You see, if you go to Bangladesh and all, there are thousands and thousands of devotees in Bengal, Bangladesh and other places around here, East India, Orissa and all. And you can see that most of them are farmers and everybody is Krishna conscious devotee. And whenever they yield anything first, they offer to Krishna, send some vegetables and the rice and everything to the temple. In this way, they are very, very Krishna conscious every day chanting and they are taking care of their farming. How many property will that? Then if you calculate how much property is there, considering congregation as part of ISKCON, we have thousands and millions of acres. Because everybody has 2 acre, 5 acre, 10 acre like that. We have thousands and thousands of devotees, especially Bengali devotees. They have very small land, but the number of devotees are going in thousands and lakhs. So only initiated devotee itself goes around more than 50,000 disciples of Guru Maharaj. Then what to speak of other people who are getting preached and joining the thing, who are in the 4 rounds, 8 rounds, and so they are all farmers and they are all having acres and acres of land. So just how much will you? So I told them, how much? Why do you want to pray for that? No, we very intensely prayed, Mataji, that the case should win and the temple should come. Why? The whole world is that Krishna wants to give you, he can give everything to you. And Krishna is not a beggar to go and fight with somebody. And if it has to come, it will come. And the authorities are doing the needful and we are interested in reading Shilpa. When I told them, so many information we don't know. We don't know so many information about Krishna, where he is living, what is his position. So we are reading right now about the characteristics and qualities of the Supreme Lord, his inconceivable potencies. And these are very important matters for us to know, rather than which property, already you know things that in the world there are so many properties, each one is having in their name. They get transferred, ISKCON is a registered organization. These kind of things we generally know. But that spiritual information, we don't know. It's all new news. It's totally new. So, because it's totally new, then you should be curious to know that rather than. So, this Kanishta Adhikaris, they have interest and they interest in certain aspects like institutional problems. They've not even read any books, but they interest in institutional matters and other. Then I advise them, you go and read the proper books. You can start, no, Mataji, we are having Bhagavad Gita classes now and then and all. Okay, fine, take a simple book, take Krishna book. It's like a story, you can just read it, but take some book and read rather than just ponder, because already our mind is ready to accept many, many things. So we should now stop the mind, shake your head. That is not the way to throw away the items in your head. You shake your head, you think everything will fall out. No. Just take Prabhupada books and start reading, then these kind of informations will come. So one should progress from Kanishta Adhikari into Madhyama Adhikari stage. And that is to see the Lord separately, the devotees separately, and the levels of devotees, Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari separately, and then contribute by innocent people when they come, preach to them and make them devotees, if they are friendly. And if you feel them atheistic and argumentative, just avoid them. These kind of attitude one has to progress into, especially when you are doing Shastric study. And chanting 16 rounds is minimum. If you are not chanting 16 rounds, you don't even enter into Kanishta Adhikari, what to speak of Madhyama Adhikari. If you are not chanting, then you are not a devotee. That's all, full stop. So this is what, and sometimes devotees chant, but they tell lie. I don't chant. And we know they chant. Sometimes devotees don't chant, and they say we chant. And we know. There is a purpose why they are telling the lie. That also we know. So everybody has a background process. All these are symptoms of Kanishtadhikari. Madhyamadhikari is not fearful to express himself. Many, not only here in Bhagavatam, many places, the definitions of Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari, Kanishtadhikari are given. Various aspects. So when you combine it, we can see very easily, we can see in the society of devotees who is there in the which level. But only Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari can see very nicely, clearly the spiritual position of the living being. So the living entities are qualitatively one with the Lord, but they are not quantitatively one. This is called Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. We are one with the Lord, but we are different from the Lord. Yeah. So Jivesh has told about quality and quantity earlier. Okay, thank you, Jivesh. So this qualitatively, the living entities are qualitatively one with the Lord, and quantitatively we are different. So what is this quality? Anybody can say? How we are qualitatively one with the Lord? What are these qualities?
Means we are quality means we are also Satchit Anand, the same material we are also made of. But quantity means we are not that much like Krishna. So means it is compared that there is ocean. So Krishna is like ocean, and we are the means one drop. So quality wise we are also salty, but we are not like that much big ocean.
Very nice. So quality actually Sat, Chit and Ananda. So we are Ishvara Paramakrishna Satsiddhananda Vigraha, we are telling Krishna. So what about us? We are also Satsidananda. Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers and Swamijis, they name Swami Sachidananda. In South India, we have Swami Sachidananda. Many people name themselves as Sachidananda or like Sat Chitananda, Chinmayananda, like Chitandananda alone. Like this, they name. So Satsidananda, what is Sat? Eternal. So quality means not simply repeat. Satchidananda is also Satchidananda. You say that we are also eternal, Lord is also eternal. Prabhupada mostly uses, very rarely uses Sanskrit terms. He uses English terms so that we really understand. Huh? So sometimes we just repeat it as an answer, but we may not be able to realize it. So when you understand it, you gradually get into realization. So the Sat is eternity. Lord is also eternal. We are also eternal. Lord doesn't have birth, death, old age, disease. We also don't have birth, death, old age, disease. Sat, Chit, full of knowledge. Lord is full of knowledge. And we are also fully knowledgeable to the extent of our capacity. That is minuteness. Based on our quantity, we are fully knowledgeable. So, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Ananda is bliss. Lord is fully blissful and we are also blissful. But then why Soha and Moha are coming? Because we are in the bodily concept, we assume that I am the body. That is the issue. And the individual spark of the supreme whole possesses almost 80% of them. If somebody is perfect like Brahma, a living entity's maximum position, 80% of the quality can be had of the Lord. So are we 80% equal? No. Quantitatively small. 80% of quality. That also Satsidananda also 80% of the quality we have. And then we have the in a minute quantity we have. So, but they are not qualitatively equal to the Supreme Lord. So this is very important. Achintya Veda Abheda Tattva. Veda means different. Abheda means non-different. So qualitatively, they are equal to the Supreme Lord. Very good. Now I'm going to divide you into teams. 1 second. Let me do one thing. Just check. Prabhupada is giving 3 examples to explain this concept. Okay, 3 examples. I want you people to discuss these three examples and come out by saying what are all the three examples Prabhupada is giving for the constitutional original position of the living entity. Task 1. Task 2 is a word called ekatvam is mentioned. Ekatvam means we are one with the God, like that. So this one with the God, this ekatvam, there is another example Prabhupada is giving to understand this ekatvam, oneness. Okay. So what I want you to do is, I want you to go and discuss. You read the full purport. Each of you should read. I will give you good time. Each of you read, all the team should read the full purport properly. And then you have to come out with the three analogies which are given for Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. Three analogies. And one Ekatvam. For Ekatvam, Prabhupada is giving an example. How we are one with the Lord for that. So what is that? That also you should bring. Okay. So I'm dividing you into how many of you? 17? 4 groups and giving you half an hour. I think you can read and you can come back. Half an hour is, yeah, that is, or 20 minutes or, yeah, half an hour. 25 minutes I'll give you. 20 minutes is more than enough. Because all of you are working. So all of you keep the book ready. Full purport you need to read. Properly, nicely you read, nicely you discuss. How it is dividing. Ayan Mandal, Disha Agarwal, Divya Rupa, Om Govindarai, Akarshak, Rajkumar, Sahasan, Trishnet. Okay. Why some of you have not joined? Kindly join.
Letter of Pinju.
Which two, Prabhuji? I didn't see it.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Everybody is,
Krishna.
I think some of them are remaining.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Now, room 4, can you present Abhishek Sinha, Jivesh, Sadanandini Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Mataji, the first analogy is that Prabhupada is saying here the example of heat and light, like how the spark is qualitatively one with the light or fire, one with the fire, but quantitatively it is different. We can't compare a spark or light with the fire. And here in this Ekatvam Anupashyata, Prabhupada is giving this analogy of this how the drop of this salt present in a drop is never comparable to the quantity salt present in the complete ocean. So the here in this analogy here he is saying that how quantity is different but the quality is same. Hare Krishna, Jivesh Prabhu, you can continue.
Hare Krishna. So in the Ekatvam, Prabhupada is mentioning about four analogies. So one is that Prabhu said about salt and water, that how the water which is containing salt, if we take like a drop of water, it will have the same quantity of salt as was present in the like the ocean water, but the quantity will differ. And about the interest, Prabhupada is mentioning that if one is in a family or in a nation, so they are different individual beings, but their interest is one, that is to serve the nation or to serve the family. And rest of the two, I think Sadanandini Mataji will tell. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Uh, the analogy, the sun and its rays. The sun is Brahma and the rays is individual soul. The sun represents the soul and its rays represent the individual souls. The rays are inseparable from the sun. And though the rays may appear to be distinct and scattered across different parts, but they all emanate from the same sun. And the analogy has said the salt and the water. The salt is Brahman and the water is individual. So individual soul. When the salt is dissolved in water, we cannot. It is indistinguishable from the water. How much how much we try to separate, it will not separate. It will be mixed and will be together.
Okay, thank you. But it is not the sun, it is the fire. Fire and the spark.
Yeah, 5 and this.
Yes, very good. Okay, now group 3.
Mataji, in this mantra, they again talk about this Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari. Here, the Prabhupada compares, he first, the Uttama Adhikari sees the oneness among the all the living entities. He sees equality because all these energies are come from the Lord. He sees the equality in all these energies, that mainly the living beings. So here in Prabhupada compares the salt, the spark and the fire, where the spark forms the small part of the fire. The fire gives heat and light to some air distance. The same quality, even though the spark is a minute part of the fire, the same quality it also exhibits, but it is not quantitatively equal to the fire. The fire gives light and heat for a longer distance, but when you compare to the spark, it also gives light and heat, but it does not. It does not. The quantity of the heat and light is not equal to the entire fire. So when we consider human beings, we are bits and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Even though the mantra says that we exhibit 80 percentage of all the qualities that the Supreme Lord possesses, but we are not equal to the God. We are qualitatively equal to God, possessing some 80 percentage of characters, but the quantitatively we are not equal to God. We are not equal to the power of the God. So that is what explained between the fire and the spark. Then he also compares the ocean and the drop of water from the ocean. The drop of
It's
water,
not human being, it is living entity.
living entities, all.
Human
Yeah.
being is a body. We are not the body.
Okay, Mataji.
We are talking about the constitutional position of the living entity.
Yes, Mataji. Living entities, all the living entities, they possess, they are, even though they are tiny bits and parcels of God, they contain the qualitative, they possess the qualitative nature of the Lord, but we are not equal to the quantitative. we are not equal to the quantitative of Lord. So the second example is the ocean and the salt. If you consider a drop of water from the ocean, it contains some amount of salt. But when we compare the salt to the entire ocean, it doesn't match the quantity of drop of water. Quantity of salt in the drop of water does not match with the entire water in the ocean. So that is how it is again compared to the living entities. All the living entities, we are not equal in the quantitative respect with the God. So yeah, next Sakshi Mataji.
Yeah, hi, Risha Mataji. So
Yes.
next we see how the interest, like a family or a nation has a similar interest, like serving the whole nation, or the family members have a combined same interest towards the entire family. Similarly, the Supreme Lord has this built this absolute big family, and the interest of this is similar, like serving the supreme whole, but there are different individuals within the citizen. So this is another aspect of oneness, how the interest of all are same, but again the quantities are different, whereas the family is centered around their own family, whereas the Supreme Lord, being the father of the entire manifestation, is like taking care and the interest of the entire living entities to serve the Supreme Lord. And another example is that Prabhupada mentions that a father like extends himself to his offspring or children and takes care and maintains them, and through this he derives pleasure. So similar, just like in a family, a father or a parent takes care of their offspring and maintains them and derives pleasure. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, he is the father of the entire manifestation, every living entity, and this is an entire big absolute family where he has his transcendental arrangements to engage with his with the living entities and derive pleasure. So this is another aspect of oneness and a difference in quantity, whereas a particular a family extends towards, bounds to his own family, whereas the Supreme Lord is engaged with all the living entities within the manifestation.
Excellent. This team has done a real good work. Reading the purport attentively is very important. Okay. And what about team 2?
Thanks, Mataji. So yeah, means first question was, means we need to give, two analogy, that means how we are equal and at the same time we are different from the God. So first here we are see that, means given the example of fire, that means fire has both lights and heat, and similarly, means we are also part and parcel of what. So quality wise we are same, means for example, fire also has, means this quality, and the small spark of that, fire is also having the same quality. It means that it can burn, but means the so same we have also the Satchit Anand means quality, but here but means quantity wise we are, means different. That means fire, has, means more heat and power than, what we compare of the small star. So likewise we are also, in quantity wise we are different. And second example is given here by, Prabhat, that of oceans, that ocean is having the means drop of ocean, and ocean has the same, taste, I means salty, but but a small drop of water, and that big ocean is quantity wise different. So we also this soul we are soul, so we are also quantity wise Sachit Anand, quality wise and quantity wise we are different. And the ekatvam means ekatvam is spelled by Bidbirutam Matari.
Uh, Hare Krishna, ma'am. So ekatvam here is like quality wise we are same with the Lord, like but quantity wise we are very small, like infinitesimal small. So the two analogies are already explained by Prabhu. I'll tell the another two analogies. We'll take the heat, light, and fire analogy once more. So we see that the heat and light actually they are different from fire. Matlab, it cannot exist independently exist with fire. Similarly, we energies like we the material energy and the marginal energy and the external energy also cannot cannot be there without with the supreme energy. So it is so yeah, who's the source of all energy. Similarly, like heat and light, when we see fire, of course fire should be there, then only heat and light will be there. Similarly, supreme lord is there, that's why we all are here. That is one analogy we see. And the other one is the family, like the family analogy, like the family and nation. Like everybody, like in a family we see everybody works for the well-being of the entire family. Similarly, all living entities actually should be working for the pleasure of the Lord. That is their true interest, that should be their true interest. So this analogy actually conveys that if they work for the pleasure of the Lord, then there will be happiness and there won't be any clash of interest. Thank you, ma'am.
Very nice. But in the last paragraph, you can see one more analogy. That is mentioned about a father, that Ananda, happiness. Anandamayo Abhyasat. We are also hankering after Ananda. We all want happiness, but we won't get it in the material world. And Krishna is yielding happiness, the supreme enjoyer. So the
Mataji,
Ananda
room
is.
1 is there.
Huh?
Room 1.
So that analogy you missed. Divya Rupa.
Ma'am.
The
Okay,
last paragraph you see. Last or second
Okay.
last, I don't know. Almost to the end.
Okay,
Almost
okay,
to
ma'am.
the end, there is one analogy. Okay, next. Room 1.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Mataji, regarding the qualitatively one and quantitatively different, that the living entities are qualitatively one and quantitatively different. We can understand this with the example of the sparks of a fire. The sparks have the heat and light which is present in the fire, but in quantity it is very minute, just as the parts and parcels are minute. And we can also understand with the example of the drop of water of the ocean. It contains the same saltiness as the ocean does, but in quantity it's very, very minute. The ocean contains a very large quantity of saltiness. This is very minute. Similarly, the living entities have the quality very minutely, and that's the difference. Then the quantitatively we are very different.
So here Disha Mataji is explaining about the Achintya Bheda Tattva. So Achintya means inconceivable, Bheda difference, and Abheda oneness. That is oneness, Ekatvam, but I will explain more. So what is Ekatvam? Ekatvam means oneness. Here it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 18.54 that impersonalist refers oneness as the merging with the supreme, the Brahma Jyoti. I think Prabhupada calls it the spiritual suicide. But we have to understand more advancedly that what is oneness. Oneness in the same interest. What is the interest of the Lord and what is the interest of the living entity? To serve the Lord's interest, which is the main interest. Here it is written the Sanskrit word Ekatam, unity of all living entities from the viewpoint of revealed scriptures. So here there are several examples of the Ekatvam. I will try to explain it. The first analogy, that is its sun and its rays. The rays of the sun shares the same qualities as the sun, light and heat, but are not separate entities. They are an extension of the sun's energy. So similarly, in the Ekatvam concept, the individual soul shares the divine uh, essence of the Supreme, but remains a part of the greater absolute whole. So there is a beautiful example here, the father and its extensions. So father is extending uh, children, and if the children obeys the father with the one interest, it will be blissful. Similarly, we are the parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord. If we obey, if we surrender unto the Lord's lotus feet, and we obey the one's interest, which is the transcendental enjoyment, the supreme whole, here it is in Isopanisad, it is clearly mentioned about the supreme. Yeah, the spiritual entities are meant for the enjoyment by nature and constitution. Every living being, including Supreme Lord, and each part and parcel is meant for eternal enjoyment, that is transcendental enjoyment. So transcendental enjoyment is the oneness. Here also mention about Atma Bhuta and Brahma Bhuta. There can be a confusion about Atma Bhuta and Brahma Bhuta, but if we read advancedly what Isopanishad and Bhagavad Gita is explaining, they both are the same, Atma Bhuta and Brahma Bhuta. Here it is written, the results of our activities must be used to serve the interest of the Lord, which I explained earlier, and not for any other purpose. Only by serving the Lord's interest can we perceive the Atma Bhuta interest. And Brahma Bhuta is explained in the Bhagavad Gita 18.54, where impersonal is the philosophy of the impersonal is different, and personal is the philosophy is to serve the Lord's interest. That is the Brahma Bhuta. To derive the pleasure, but transcendental pleasure. And the last example, I think all example is finished. The main point was the transcendental realization, transcendental pleasure, transcendental enjoyment of the oneness. That is Ekatva. Thank you.
Good. Done good. You went into Bhagavad Gita also, you read. I think Sadanandini also told from Bhagavad Gita, the sun and the sun rays. But the primary example should be from the main book, not from the reference. Reference sometime may jump over for additional points, but primary point comes from the main purport. Sorry, Sadanandini. I think you told from Bhagavad Gita. That is, Brahmabhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu na te labate param. Very nice verse. Brahmabhuta stage. Now we are talking about Atma Bhuta stage. This Brahma Bhuta and Atma Bhuta are same things. Okay. Very good discussion. All of you, for a question for your thought. Now, if somebody is coming and he is from some kind of impersonal background, and he is just coming and telling that God and we are same. So, will you argue or will you agree to start with? To start with, how will you start the conversation? If a person is coming and telling we and God are same.
Agree to start.
Yeah.
First, we will start by agreeing and then we will explain it in detail.
In what
So
respect?
now you have become a different person. If you not read Achintya Veda Veda Tattva properly, first thing you will argue is, no, God is God, we are servants, He is supreme, He is great, and we are like this. So, embracing the impersonalist also and personalist also. This Achintya Veda Abheda Tattva is very, very powerful, that when somebody comes to talk about their philosophy, we are not going to negate them. We are not going to argue them saying that no. Like we and God are same, we and God. In Kerala and all you go, they have this philosophy, we and God are same. You say, yes, we are same. But we are also different. Achintya, Beda, Abeda Tattva. Abeda, they are telling Abeda, Abeda, Abeda. So there are, in South India, if you see, there are two kinds of groups. One group says that we and God are different, and living entity and God are different. Another group saying that Advaita and Dvaita. Advaita means me and God are not different. Dvaita says that me and God are different. So they so-called Vaishnava and Shaiva like that, whatever, it's a confused fight which is going on. But we get inside and we say that you're also right, you're also right, but you're partially right, you're partially right. If you combine this two, then it is correct. Like that. So it's very important that we don't argue when somebody says that we and God are same. Merging into God should be opposed. Mayavadi philosophy says that Maya is powerful than Krishna. Krishna comes under the control of Maya and all. That's a separate discussion we'll have. When that topic comes, we'll have a separate discussion. But right now, you should understand that Achintya Bheda Bheda. Don't simply agree saying that yes, yes, we and God are same. Yes, yes. No, we and God are same because we are part and parcel of God. But at the same time, we are different because He is in quality and quantity. These 2 points you need to bring to make them understand. Very good. So, where is that here? So, very nicely, he said that we have to surrender to the lotus feet of. So, the spark and fire you already saw, then you saw the drop of water and the ocean of water, so different. It's like infinite. The Lord is infinity, in maths, and if I say infinity, what is that number? 1 million, 10 million, how much?
Not countable.
Yes, unlimited. Unlimited. It's going on and on and on and on and on and on. Like that, Lord is ever expanding. And his internal potency is also ever expanding. So you cannot actually judge the size of the Lord. But at the same time, we are minute in quantity and we are saying 1/10,000th tip of the hair, or whatever it is. In Bhagavad Gita, size of the soul is there. So in quantity, we are very limited, but Lord is unlimited. And He is magnificent. We are very minute. And a family or a nation is given as an interest. The interest of the family and nation should be the same. They are all acting for a particular cause. Same way, if we all act as a particular cause, then we are with Krishna, and our interest and Krishna's interest doesn't clash. It doesn't clash, it go in conjunction with Krishna's thoughts. Oh, the same thing. So one interest is there. And one more is that the energies are all personalities. And if you see Mahabhagavata devotee, he is seeing the energy. No difference between the energy and the energetic. So here the internal energy, there's no difference because this energy is meant for Krishna only and it is coming out of Krishna only. So first is the source is Krishna. The energy source is also Krishna. And the purpose of the energy is also to serve Krishna and please Krishna only. So there is not a difference between them. The living entity's marginal energy's constitutional position is also to please the Supreme Lord. The external energy is also purpose is to please the Supreme Lord. How Maya can be pleasing? Yes, Krishna order, like for example, in a country, the king is ordering to have the government to have a jail, and there is a jailer sitting there. You think the jailer of the prison is opposing the government? No, they are obeying the government. So on whose order are they guarding the jail? Same way, Maya Devi also in this material world, whose order she is putting us into illusion is on the Supreme Lord's order. Unless we are sincere in our affection to Krishna, we cannot reach there. So that sincerity of the affection and determination is checked by her regularly. So just because teacher is giving a test, we cannot scold the teacher. If the teacher is giving tough test, then we get angry and scold the teacher. No, why you didn't study properly? Why you are failing? So all of them are, and one more is the result of our activities must be used in the interest of the Lord. It should be used for the. So this we have here the size of the Atma and Paramatma is compared in the same father example which you said. And Atma Bhuta and Brahma Bhuta both are same. So Govinda Rai read this Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Prasannatma is very happy. Atma becomes very happy when it is engaged in Krishna consciousness. And we share the happiness. It's not that, okay, I'm offering Bhoga to Krishna, so only he is enjoying. What about me? No, when I take the prasad, I'm very happy. And when Krishna is being offered the prasad, Krishna Bhoga, then Krishna is very happy. And both of us are happy. So the happiness derived, if I'm jumping in the kirtan and dancing, Krishna gets pleasure because we are giving pleasure to the Lord. At the same time, I am deriving pleasure while jumping and dancing. So it's a mutual exchange of affection and love. So those who surrender at the feet of the Supreme Lord, this sloka covers with two things. One who surrenders unto the Supreme Lord and not seeing, of course, these two difference. Soga and moga will go. Moga means illusion, soga means anxiety or whatever this fear. Soga, moga, bhayanakam. All the three will go. Your illusion and anxieties. So if we don't have interest away from Krishna, our interest is fixed with Krishna, then we are in safe side in this material world. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much. So mostly you will also be reading. If possible, read and come from the 8th sloka and come here so that it will go fast. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? You can put it in the group already. Okay, one question. I can take 1 or 2 questions.
So Mataji, means 80% quality, even means in quantity we are not equal. It is very clear, but in quality we are 80% means what? In which feature like Sachidanand, which feature we are, or in all feature we are 20% less, or what?
It's not like that. As I already gave you an example during the introduction session, the Purnamada Purnamida Purnat Purnamudichyate. So there is one Purna who is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And from him, many Purnas come out, internal potency, external potency. We are marginal thousands and thousands and thousands. So Krishna is only one father. I want to show you a very nice, thank you for asking this question. In the father example, you see this. See, the father extends himself through his children and maintains them in order to derive pleasure. If the children obey the father, the family will. The same situation, translate the opposite family, Parabrahman, seems, one more paragraph is there, in which it is written, this Eko Bahunam Yo Vidatati Kaman, which actually means there can be many children, but there is only one father. Same way, the living entities are many, 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 many. So if the example which I gave you is like the machine and the screw. For example, the machine is also made of metal. The screw is also made of metal. But so both are of same quality. But the heavy duty machine which is required, the screw may be a thinner duty screw. The gauge. You see that the screw may have a little lesser gauge compared to the original machine itself. So this is what it is. Like Supreme Lord is there. Brahma is said to be a perfected being in the living entities. Among the living entities, marginal potency, Brahma is said to have quality, 80% quality. Quality is not just a Satsidananda. Many other qualities are there in the Supreme Lord. Like we have Shaddha Iswarya, we have beauty, wisdom, 6 kind of opulences. And characteristics, there are 64 characteristics of Krishna mentioned in What is that? Teachings of Lord Chaitanya and Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned. So many characteristics are mentioned of the Lord. So if a living entity becomes perfect by serving the Lord and serving the Lord and serving the Lord and serving the Lord, then it will develop qualities similar to the Lord till 80%. Like Uddhava, he looked exactly like Krishna. When the gopis saw Uddhava, then they mistook him to be Krishna only. Same way in Vaikuntha, Jaya Vijaya was there, and they were looking exactly similar to the Lord, except that the Lord had the Srivatsa and Kaustubha. Otherwise, they looked exactly the same, but they are living entities. So here, if you see Uddhava is a living entity, whereas Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Uddhava was almost like Krishna. So in Vaikuntha, all of them are having 4 hands, and they look exactly like Narayana, except for the qualities, the simplified qualities will be only with Krishna. So even Narayana has more percentage, Shiva has more percentage than the living entity, but nobody can equal to Krishna. Krishna purposely gives this. Given to devotees, what he does, more than 80% can a living entity have? Yes. More than 80%. 80% maximum. If Krishna voluntarily wants to give Sakti Avesh Avatar, we call them like Acharya Parampara or Parasurama. There are certain avatars are called Shakti Avesh Avatar. The extra Shakti is also given by Krishna. So it's not just Satsidananda's quantity. We are very impersonally studied all the books in college and school. So we are seeing like that. Everybody's personality. So the personality has characteristics and quality. It's not the spirituals are big. So we are very impersonal in nature. So we are thinking vast ocean and a small drop of ocean means a big light, Krishna, small light, Atma. We are not light, we are persons. And when we say quality, which actually means the person has quality. For example, Mataji get angry very soon. This is my quality. Oh, nice quality, no? Wow. Like this. Everybody has some quality. That is the quality we are talking about here. So that quality we can have the same. So Satsidananda Vigraha is the primary aspect with which we are made of. That is one thing. And we are personalities. We are not Satsidananda Vigraha spark. We are person. The person has qualities. And maximum is 80. It's not that all the living entities are 80%. No, not like that. One who has attained topmost perfection is 80% maximum. They cannot have more. Some may be 60, some may be 70, some may be 50, but maximum is 80. Got it? आकर्षक हो गया.
हाँ नहीं नहीं yes Mataji. So means we are Satchit Anand. This is common for everybody, but some qualities like different, like means beauty, fame, strength, all those. In that we are less or more like that.
Yes, even look-wise, the Jaya Vijaya and all the Vaikuntha Vasis look same like Narayana, and Uddhava is the best example. That he looked by worshipping Krishna, he became like Krishna, only dark complexion, lotus eyes, very beautiful. But unless somebody goes nearby and really sees him and talks to him, they'll think that it's Krishna only. Like that. Even gopis, they thought it's Krishna suddenly. And after talking to him, they know, no, this is not Krishna, this is another person, like that. So that much he has in the Krishna consciousness. So how does one develops that 80% Puranam is by performing pure devotional service. One attains the stage.
Okay,
Next verse, we will see that everybody is personal, like Krishna's energies are personal, and everything is personal, except for the Brahma Jyoti. And even in the Brahma Jyoti, there are people, there are cities, there are people living there. Lord Shiva is living there. There also homes will be there, roads will be there. Everything will be there inside Brahma Jyoti also. Almost everything is personal in creation, except for the Jyoti itself. Everything else is personal. Okay. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Any questions? You can put it in message or privately message me. Jai Vancha Kalpatarabhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyo Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Already you studied 8th sloka, little bit you read for deity worship, deity thing. Idol worship is different from deity worship. Now I want you to go through the 8th and come back, okay? Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.